This is Real News Media TV, coverage you can trust. Please like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Select all for daily news updates. Teen boy charged in relation to fatal stabbing. A teen boy has been charged for the stabbing death of another teenager during a dispute. He was charged on Monday after a question and answer session. His court date is being finalized. The police report that the accused and the 16-year-old Dominic Deere, otherwise called the Papa Bear, of McIntyre Villa in Kingston 16, had a dispute on Friday, October 1. It is further reported that during the altercation, a knife was used to stab Deere. The police were alerted and he was taken to hospital where he was pronounced dead. His attacker was taken into custody. Noxious fumes affecting sections of corporate area. The authorities are seeking to locate the source of noxious fumes that are affecting sections of the corporate area. Operations at some buildings in parts of Halfway Tree and New Kingston have been impacted. Earlier today, workers at the NCB towers located at Oxford Road and at the National Housing Trust evacuated their buildings because of the fumes. The NHT has since closed its office for the day, and the Ministry of Transport and Mining on Maxfield Avenue has also been closed due to the fumes. The ministry says all members of staff were evacuated in keeping with protocol. It says the Jamaica Fire Brigade was called in and the preliminary checks made so far have eliminated any immediate danger. It says personnel from the Ministry of Health and Wellness are currently on location conducting air quality checks in order to determine if it is safe to re-enter the buildings. Opposition demands resumption of face-to-face school. Opposition spokesperson on education, Dr. Angela Brown-Burke, is demanding that the government immediately reopen all public schools as the education system is at a crisis level. Dr. Brown-Burke is insisting that if adults can go to work, students should be allowed to attend physical school.
What is required is that they come in small groups, that they wear their mask, that they are able to sanitize and wash their hands frequently. They can physically distance themselves in the rooms. The government of Jamaica needs to facilitate that. They need to have the conversation with our schools about what is required, and they need to provide that. If they need to add additional teaching staff to that, then they need to do that so that smaller groups can be facilitated in learning. They need to partner with the community for the community centers, with the churches for the church halls, use the open spaces so that we can bring our children back face to face. This notion that they can't come back to school until you have 65% of our children vaccinated. First of all, we don't have no vaccine for them in a primary school, so make them come back now. Argument done. The second is that for those who are in secondary school, the ministry themselves, by their own admission, have not been able to provide the opportunity for our children to be 65% vaccinated. Those who have taken their first shot can't get them second shot. The government doesn't know when the next shipment is coming of Pfizer. So, own up to your mistake. You know that you have failed them, so bring them back to school now.
Our hotel No Movement Day footage possibly lost, said attorney. Our hotel attorney Peter Champagne says some of the footage from the No Movement Day closed circuit television recording may have been lost. The police are today expected to access footage from the New Kingston-based hotel captured on September 14, the No Movement Day on which resigned the Agriculture Minister Floyd Green and others attended a birthday party. It is regrettable that the police waited so long to seek this order because, as I understand it, some data their shelf life is not very long and it may have been overwritten, Champagne told the news. He said initially investigators had requested that the footage be preserved under the Disaster Risk Management Act. However, there is no provision in law for this. Champagne said some time elapsed before the police appropriately submitted their request under the Cybercrimes Act. On September 27, Deputy Commissioner of Police Fitz Bailey told the news that the police first visited the hotel on September 17, that's 3 days after the controversial party. The investigators reportedly verbally requested the footage, but were told that the hotel had to consult with its attorney. Bailey said the police wrote to the hotel on September 20, formally requesting the closed-circuit footage, and followed up with an email 2 days later and with a call on September 23. But Champagne contends that the proper request for the R Hotel footage was made 2 weeks after the September 14 event. The amended request under the Appropriate Act was submitted a couple days ago, he added. I am lamenting the fact that the police didn't act any quicker because we were always willing to hand over, said Champagne. The attorney explained that the hotel had to go to court to seek clarification because it was of the view that the first request by the police was vague and was not grounded in the correct legislation. Following the controversial party, Green, in his resignation letter to Prime Minister Andrew Holness, admitted that his attendance at the event with other maskless persons was wrong. Green's advisor Gabriel Hilton and the Mona Division Councillor Andrew Bellamy also attended the party. No matter how briefly and regardless of the circumstances, I should never have participated in any engagement that could indicate a lack of appreciation of the difficult and serious realities that now face the entire country, Green said. Meanwhile, Bailey has suggested that investigators might not be able to bring charges against Green because of recent changes to the DRMA. Bailey asserted that an August 11 amendment gives unconditional exemption for certain categories of individuals: the Governor General, members of both Houses of Parliament, and the members of the judiciary. The September 14 No Movement Day was among measures implemented by the government to contain a deadly third wave of COVID-19 in Jamaica. Reggae artist Tanya Stephens bashes rape culture in Jamaica. Reggae entertainer Tanya Stephens has lashed out at what she describes as the rape culture in Jamaica, saying she feels the system is set up to accommodate the perpetrators and not the victims. Stephens, who recently made it known that she was the victim of sexual abuse when she was younger, said it was unfortunate that instead of trying to understand the pain or trauma that victims experience, many people in society were more aggressive towards the victims and not the perpetrators. She recently highlighted her experience on social media and opted not to release the name of her attacker, but has still come under fire from some social media users. Stephens said she felt that even if she had given a name, she would still come under pressure. To every victim of rape, you know what happened, and so does your rapist. The system was set up to accommodate rapists, to break your spirit and silence you. Society is complicit because it is comprised of rapists, families and friends of rapists, and rape victims in denial and suffering from a form of Stockholm Syndrome, the These Street singer said in a post on social media. Stephens also warned members of the public about jumping to defend the people who they know particularly well. MP calls for stiffer penalties for cable thieves. Government Member of Parliament Juliet Cuthbert Flynn wants stiffer penalties for cable thieves. The MP for St. Andrew West Rural made the call on Tuesday afternoon as she made her contribution to the State of the Constituency debate in the House of Representatives.
We need to also consider looking at legislating stiffer penalties for cable theft, because as the world shifts and moves into the fourth industrial revolution for Jamaica, to keep up, we have to make sure our technological infrastructure is also protected.
Security guard missing. 42-year-old Dwayne Campbell, a security guard of St. John's Road, Spanish Town, St. Catherine, has been missing since February. He is of brown complexion, slim build, and about 182 centimeters or 5 feet 9 inches tall. Reports from the Spanish Town police are that Campbell was last seen sometime in February. His mode of dress at the time he went missing is unknown. Anyone knowing the whereabouts of Dwayne Campbell has been asked to contact the Spanish Town Police at 876-984-2305, Police 119 emergency number, or the nearest police station. 7-month-old among 14 additional COVID deaths, 249 new cases. The Ministry of Health and Wellness is reporting that a 7-month-old boy is among 14 additional COVID-19 deaths recorded in Jamaica. The ministry says the death of the St. Catherine infant was previously under investigation. The 14 additional fatalities have pushed the country's tally to 1,936. Those who have died are a 39-year-old woman from St. Elizabeth, a 59-year-old woman from St. James, an 80-year-old woman from Trelawney, a 7-month-old male from St. Catherine, whose death was previously under investigation, a 41-year-old woman from St. James, a 56-year-old man from St. Elizabeth, whose death was previously under investigation, an 81-year-old man from St. Catherine, a 75-year-old man from Kingston and St. Andrew, a 28-year-old woman from St. Catherine, a 72-year-old man from Kingston and St. Andrew, a 56-year-old man from St. Anne, a 78-year-old man from Kingston and St. Andrew, a 78-year-old woman from St. Mary, and an 80-year-old man from St. Mary. The ministry says the deaths occurred between September 5 and October 3. Meanwhile, there were 249 new cases, with ages ranging from 58 days to 94 years, pushing the total to 85,163, with 29,109 being active. Of the new cases, 143 are women and 106 are men. The parish breakdown is as follows: St. Catherine 69, Kingston and St. Andrew 54, St. James 27, Westmoreland 16, Clarendon 14, Hanover 14, Manchester 9, Portland 6, St. Thomas 6, St. Mary 6, Trelawney 5, St. Elizabeth 4, and St. Anne 4. A total of 1,419 tests were conducted. The country's positivity rate stands at 26%. In the meantime, there were 134 more recoveries, increasing the total to 53,538. Some 551 persons are in hospital, with 115 being moderately ill, 67 severely ill, and 34 critically ill. One person is in government quarantine, while 35,907 are at home. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Select all for daily news updates.